Hello, innovators. I'm Dustin Miller, PolyInnovator. Today we're talking with Perry Knoppert the Multipotentialite, creative generalist, founder of Support4.art Foundation, and a multidisciplinary entrepreneur. Thank you for joining me on the Polymath Podcast, a show by PolyInnovator.
Wow, that goes fast. That's amazing. Can you do that again? No, I'm teasing you. Yeah. I'm teasing you.
I had half a mind. Please say hello to the innovators in the audience.
Hello, everybody. Nice to see you there. Nice to talk to you, and here in Europe,
Yeah. Well, and I didn't really even realize how fast I did that, but I did like the stock reel, just boom, right on out. That's awesome.
Wow.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
One way I like to break the ice is to have you share something about yourself that no one knows about you.
Well, nobody knows about me. I'm quite of an open book. Nobody knows about it.
Come back to it.
Well, since this year, I'm doing these interviews and I'm talking to a lot of people and we're sharing experiences and we're really having interesting conversations both ways. Mm-hmm. Did that with you as well, Dustin. So I'm sharing a lot of things about myself. And just before the interview, you spoke about the TEDx interview I had. That was very personal to tell everybody that I had a brain infection and my ex-wife thought I really lost my mind and wanted to admit me at the psychic hospital department. Well, that's something nobody knew. And so but okay, it's there at the TEDx as well. So I'm sharing all that information constantly. So it's a difficult one. Let me think about that. Something nobody knows. Difficult.
I think what you said there is pretty good, though, because I think a lot of people don't know that. And as someone who has changed a lot in your life over the past few years, from being an entrepreneur to creating an incubator and even having the brain issues like you mentioned there that were hard to define, how has your past impacted who you are now?
It's people. Dustin, when I think about the past and all the things that I've done and what I'm doing right now, it's... sometimes it feels like, oh, is he now doing this? Or is he doing that? But it's all connected to each other. And everything is connected what I'm doing. And it all has to do with people all the time. So I started in my profession as a salesperson, of course, because I love to talk to people and convince people. Well, that's the part that I don't do anymore. I stopped convincing people because I found out that that's not really working. I used to be very good at that, but I stopped doing that. And that gave me a lot of space, success, honesty, and reflection. Yeah.
Well, and I feel like just a kind of a gut thought idea that past of convincing people will lead you to some sort of knowledge nugget down the line, like, hey, I spent a ton of time doing this. Now I have a need for it again in some shape or form as a content creator or something like that. And you could pick on that old experience if you ever feel like you need to again. I feel like it's kind of interesting. And that was a gut feeling there.
But I recognize it immediately. So let me give you an example. I thought it was really cool. My oldest son, 14, he hates math. He's brilliant. He's fantastic, but he hates math. So he's always asking me to explain math. Dad, why does it work as it works in math? If I understand it, then I can really work with it. If I don't understand, I can't do anything. Yeah. And we were talking about minus and minus is plus. Plus and minus is minus. And plus is plus. And he said to me, explain. I was like, crap. Explain why plus and minus is minus. That was a hard one. And then I went and searched for an explanation in real life. And then I found out that I was convincing people, and that if you are convincing people, then at the short term, you can win. You can sell something. It's really good. But in the long term, it doesn't work that way. So I use that to explain math. And since then, I'm thinking, I don't want to do plus and minus is minus. I don't want to convince people anymore. If it comes, it comes. If it's good, it's good. It doesn't mean that I'm laying back in my sofa and waiting for things to happen. Definitely not. Yeah. But I'm not pushing anymore. I used to work when I was 18 or 19 at a clock factory in the Netherlands. And this guy, this owner, had me chasing clients into a restaurant nearby to convince them to buy that clock. So it gave me this sales skills. It was fantastic. But now I'm not proud of that anymore, you know, and I can use it, but I recognize it immediately if I go that way. And I'm like, no, I don't want to go there anymore. It's not good.
What it really reminds me of is Simon Sinek's Start With Why. There was a TED Talk a while back where he talks about when you explain the why of something, it's much more palatable to someone to actually listen to it. So like when Apple created their newest computer a while back, they explained why it's important to you. Then they explained how it works and then what it is. And I feel like with salespeople, most of the time they focus on the bottom up. They're trying to do that short term, what it is, and then this is how it works if you're interested. Oh, and that's why it's important. And like it's that short term win. Whereas when you go from the other way around, that why, it's a much longer.
Yeah. And you know, trying to say the right things at the right moment, even if it doesn't fit really well, or even when it's not completely true, you know. And because of a multipotentialite, because I'm linked to other people in thinking and behavior and whatever. So for me, it was very easy to link to a complete stranger and to convince that person to do something. Not anymore. Yeah, that's the past.
Well, and digging into some of the questions here, let's start off by stating in your words, what is a multipotentialite to you?
That's a difficult one. You know, I've been thinking about that question ever since we've last talked, which is more than a month ago.
Yeah.
Right? I think so. Yeah, whatever. I'm trying to figure out what it is. So I'm doing these interviews all over the world with Zoom. I love that. And I'm talking to all these people and to see what they have in common. And then, of course, it's Emily Wapnick's story, creative. We have focus on multiple things, you know, and we have superpowers and we can connect easily. I think it's something bigger than that. I think a multipotentialite never stops. And a multipotentialite is always connecting. And with that connecting, it never stops. And therefore, a multipotentialite keeps going into different fields of knowledge, of interest, or whatever. Why is it that they can't stop at one job and say, oh, this is fine, this is perfect, and I'm staying here, and this is what I want to do? Why is it when they have written a book or produced a movie or whatever, why do they always continue? And I think it's because it never stops and they keep connecting the different dots. And I think a specialist, you know, stops connecting outside of its own field. Yeah. And I think a multipotentialite keeps connecting and oversees a bigger picture and relates everything that he or she does into this one system that they're doing. So I think that's the multipotentialite. And on top of that, and that's something I'm trying to find out, on top of that, there's something else going on. So this is, okay, fine, we have lots of interests and we're connecting and we don't have a nothing box. There's this video, it's an American guy who's explaining, this is like the 80s. He's explaining the difference between men and women. And he is saying that a man has a nothing box. He has a box for his car, he has a box for his work, and he's in the box. When he's working, he's in the box of his work. When he's with his new car, he's in the box with his car, he's in the box with the kids, box with the wife. And women have all these different boxes and they're all connected. And then a man has a nothing box. That means when he's fishing and he's just sitting there and nothing is happening, he's in his nothing box. He loves that. When he's watching TV, nothing is happening. And then the wife is asking him, what are you doing? And he responds, nothing. He's in his nothing box. So multipotentialites we don't have a nothing box. It's impossible. I'm never in my nothing box because it keeps on going. So I think there is something on top of that with multipotentialites that connects these people to each other. And I'm still searching what that is. Is it a fourth dimension where these people are connected to with each other? This sounds stupid, but
No.
why is it that every time I talk to a multipotentialite, wherever it is on the world, whatever men, women, young, old, it doesn't matter. Why is there an instant connection there? Why is there an instant energy flow there? I find that fascinating.
Well, I think it's a little bit simpler than that. Personally, I think it's just a kinship kind of thing. We recognize our own kind, and I think that also goes for people who are specialists in a way. Like if some engineer in a very specific specialist field finds another engineer in that same specialist field, they're going to have that inherent kinship because we're part of the same tribe. So I think it comes down to that tribe mentality that the human nature has. When I found you, I was like, a multipotentialite, perfect. It's polymathic in a way too. We're connected in that regard, and I think that's probably one reason why, if you want to get in the more logical sense, but in the more metaphysical, could be a fourth dimensional connection. I don't know, but it is interesting.
We will see.
Yeah.
I will try to find out.
And there was something I was going to mention too that was interesting as well, but I can't remember off the top of my head. But tell me a bit about your personal journey, not only in self-discovery, but professionally too.
Well, we spoke about that in the beginning already a little bit. You know, my start in sales. People, always people connected. I used to help my father in his store selling lampshades, for crying out loud. Talking to people. So people has always been very, very much present in my entire life since I was young and until now. And I find people fascinating. So in a professional way, my life has always been around people and always been around exploring things. Is it working on the stock exchange? Is it working, you know, in the internet world, in big data, in animal nutrition, everything? And that's of course for a multipotentialite. It's fascinating to see all these different elements. Creating a TV show in China, doing all these crazy things. But when I look back at all of them, it's all connected. It all has to do, in some way, it's all in line with each other. And there's one thing that I've been doing all my life that is still there, and I started this when I was 10, 12 years old, and that's photography. It's creating the image. And it's always been around people, and it's always trying to capture the emotion, the feeling, the vibe within photography with people. And I love taking pictures of people when they don't know I'm there or when they don't know I'm taking pictures, and to capture that specific moment where it's so beautiful or so emotional. Or I love that. So I've been doing that all my life. Yeah.
Well, and it seems like something along these lines is aligning with your ikigai. When you say everything's connected, I resonate with that because I made PolyInnovator to make as a phase system. So I wanted to try to organize my multi-potential life journey. I know that seems kind of counterintuitive in a way, but I wanted to try to see if I could do it. And so I wanted to create this phase-like system that I don't know when's going to happen, not forcing myself into that, but more as a way to mentally organize what do I want to do next. And it's interesting too, because all of it, all the things that I want to do, and I think that you understand this too, all the things that you are doing and want to do is connected on that overarching journey that you see for yourself. And so what is that why that's pulling you towards?
I don't know. It's just happening. I can't do it any other way. It's there. I don't think about it. I don't have to organize that. It just happens. Even if I'm not focused on doing this, it ends up being this. So this is it, you know. It's that chaos in a way which is very, very much organized and structured in my life, and it's just happening. And why, I don't know.
You thrive on that chaos.
I'm so curious. I'm so flipping curious about so many things. And maybe the why is that maybe multipotentialites are so well capable of zooming out that you even zoom out and look at your entire life, your own life, and that you're looking at your life and saying, what am I doing with my life? And I'm 45 now, and I have 45 more years to go. And I want to explore this and this and this and this. I want to be at the end of the line and saying to myself, Jesus, I got everything out of it and I've done it all. Maybe that's why. I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like we're saying the same thing there too. That's interesting. And what I find kind of interesting too, is that I remember what I was going to tell you earlier, is that it seems like we're both kind of on a similar path right now, because you're interviewing multipotentialites, I'm interviewing people who I feel are polymathic or innovators. And one question I ask each guest, which we'll get to later, is like, what is a polymath to you? And no matter how, if someone found out that word the day of, or knew it all their life, or resonates with that word and wants to become a polymath or something like that, no matter where they come from, the answers they give is always so fascinating. And what I'm going to do at the end of this, probably 50 episodes of interviews that I'm doing of this kind of like theme, I'm going to put it all together in one compilation, and then kind of see all of them in a row and see how it goes and see what people say. I think it's interesting. Yeah,
you're creating the little puzzle pieces, and then in the end it becomes one picture, and it's going to look beautiful.
So something you say on your site, it's not about the idea, but it's how you organize your idea into success. And I resonate with that quite a lot. There's a lot of systems thinking, it seems like, as well in that, and focus in that statement. What does it mean to you, Perry?
Well, an idea, of course, I have a lot of ideas, and I have these little books, black books, moleskin books, and there are tons of them full with ideas. And it's nice to write down an idea, and it gets out of my system. And I know that I can find it back whenever I find an opportunity that can use that idea. With my experience, an idea is nothing. I remembered so well when I sold my TV format, and I went to this production company and I said, why are you buying this? Why are you interested? And they said to me, you know, Perry, everybody can come up with an idea. Creating an idea is so easy. What is difficult is having this idea, but also are able to provide us with how we're going to do it, what the camera angles are, who the sponsor is going to be, and have a signed contract with them, how your social media is going to be. So have all these elements in place, and that it's a full package. And I've always remembered that. And I think the idea itself, everyone can have an idea, but nothing will happen. The only way forward is when you have an idea and you organize everything around your idea and make it happen. And that's not easy. That's quite difficult. And you need a network of people around you to make that happen, because it's impossible to do it all by yourself. It's very difficult.
Well, and I say with the advent of technology, there's a lot of different things you can do online. Like, for example, I could make my own Netflix today or tomorrow and put content on there. There's plenty of tools to do it, but getting the people to sponsor it and getting people to actually know about it, there's a lot of details with that. And I feel like people like us have the potential to do all those different things. Knowing marketing, knowing content creation, there's a lot of nuance to that. And I don't think everyone should learn that. I think that people should know about it, but not necessarily learn it. But I think the ones who care enough can. And it's interesting because something you said there, so I don't know if it's a difference in generation, but your black books is what I do with Notion. Notion's a tool that combines documents and all that.
That's a difference in generation.
Yeah.
Trust me. Yeah.
Well, but it's the same concept. It's what the kids call it in Silicon Valley is a second brain. There was a man in Europe, Zettelman or something like that, who kind of came up with this idea where he has like a note-taking system. He can refer back to it very easily. And the people in Silicon Valley wanted to emulate that with technology. So they have a system where you can brain dump and get the ideas out of your mind so you can focus on whatever you want to focus on next, whatever curious bone in your body is drawing you towards next. And then you can put it on the slow burner, as they say, because once it's in the system, you no longer have to consciously think about it. Your subconscious probably will still already be thinking about it. And anytime something new comes up, like for your show, if there's some kind of new idea that like pops up, you can just put it in that document or in that notebook page. And then over time, the slow burner effect, so to speak, starts to build up, and you're basically slow cooking it over a long period of time. And then when it's finally ready, there's an output, which is fascinating.
Yeah, and I have that old-fashioned way with the books. And what I find fascinating with our brain is that I have like 20, 30 books like this, and they're all black. They all have the same format. It's all the same, and they're on the shelf in my office. And I know exactly what is where in which book. So they don't have a number, they don't have anything on it. I know which book to take from which year it is, and I go to that page almost automatically and I find it there. I find that fascinating. So I don't have to think about that.
I think you're a little bit special with that too, because you have an interesting mind. I feel like that might be a multi-potentialite thing, but I also do think it could also just be you too. You have a unique mind.
Hopefully. Yeah. But I think we all do.
Yeah.
I'm serious with that. You know, if we can just be ourselves and let it go. I'm fighting a little bit against the system right now. That's my aim of today, not for this interview, but for my work and my thinking, is why do we need to fit into a system? Why do we need to fit in a culture where we live? And I've spoken to some people that are multipotentialite, and they get a label of bipolar and they get their medicine and whatnot. It really makes me angry, you know, and it makes me angry because I had that myself almost as well when things were not going very well. And that people around you who don't understand you, they need to put you somewhere so they can deal with that. And I see a lot of kids now that are having a multipotentialite brain, and then all of a sudden are ADHD, you know, and apparently people that are not multipotentialite need to do something with that crazy brain, and let's put people in a corner and label them. Well, label them in a box is okay if it's helping them, but this is not helping them. And then I see a Netflix series about medication, you know, Adderall and stuff. And I'm like, two ways. I'm seeing this on Netflix about Adderall. We don't have Adderall, I think, here in the Netherlands. I don't know. But that was for me the first time that I saw that. We have Ritalin here in the Netherlands. I was like, oh, that's cool. I want to have Adderall as well. I can focus every day and I can go nuts. Like I can have it by myself. I can have my high flying days, and I can do in one day what a normal person would do in a week. Yeah. But I can also have my low days, and then and it's horrible. Nothing happens, and I'm accepting that, and it's fine. And I see that Adderall, and I'm like, oh, that's fascinating. I want to try that as well. And I'm thinking, no, I don't want to try that as well. You know, that's drugs. And then, but why are we giving this to kids? Why are we expecting these multipotentialites to focus so clearly on one specific thing to be successful in that? Why can't we let them just go? And I just spoke with someone, and she said, I think it's becoming more and more clearly now for a younger generation that they are multipotentialite. Why? Because of social media, because of all the connections that are so easy to make nowadays. And in my time, I didn't have any internet. You know, I went to school, or I went outside to play with my friends. Those were my two options, or read a book, right? Yeah. And now everything is possible. So it becomes more clear that people can create these connections easily and go with that. And then if the surrounding, if the house where they live, if they don't understand that, then probably they have ADHD or ADD. I find that
So
dangerous.
what I'm getting from you too is that like society puts these terms and boxes on people. And I agree with you. I don't think that's good. I don't think we need to overly define somebody. I think when I was like really young, they even tried to label me as ADD. And my grandmother, who's a psychiatrist, fought against that. And I'm grateful that she did, because I wouldn't want to be medicated growing up. I wanted to express myself properly. And so I get how that's not good. And when I said systems earlier, I think that it might have been perceived as like systems that are already made. In my opinion, I think we should make our own system. So like your book there, that's a system that you either found or made yourself, but made it your own no matter what. And same thing I'm doing with Notion here. We're making our own systems based on how we think. Because even if multipotentialites are the linky brain, the people who can make connections, we may be similar in that the way we make connections and our previous experiences are different. And so we want a system that we make. Also, Adderall is a mental supplement or drug that's a lot harder, but there is a whole subset of supplements called nootropics, which are good for focus, cognition. And if you ever want to know more about it, you can always message me. I've tried over 40 different kinds and multiple different combinations.
Oh, really? That's fascinating. I'm going to call you about that, because I saw that. I was like, oh, I want to know more about that. That's fascinating. Yeah.
Well, and just a tiny little tangent before we move on, because I think this is kind of interesting. I kind of have my own personal system when it comes to nootropics, where you have the support ones, you have the power ones, and you have the focus ones. The power ones will get you more cognition, a little bit more juice when you're trying to write or to be creative. Or if you're trying to focus on something, you can go take a more focus-based one. So I want to focus on this exercise that I'm doing, or I want to sit down for an hour and work on this because I had to get it done. Or the support ones are like, hey, if I need vitamins can count as nootropics. B vitamins are super important. If you're lacking something like that, or lacking choline in the brain, then you're not going to be able to, all the other ones aren't going to help. You need to have that support layer. So I just thought that was interesting.
You know what I use? Music. Yeah. I have my own music for everything. If I need to focus, I listen to the same music. If I need to take pictures, I listen to the same freaking bloody CD over and over and over. But as soon as I put on that music, my brain goes into that phase of, okay, I'm going to do that. Really works well with me.
Yeah, well, there's Atomic Habits, which is a famous habit and systems book that was out there. It's a fascinating book. There was a chapter that's talked about something stimulating. I can't remember what the word is, but like once you activate that, for example, if you associate putting on headphones with working out, eventually over time, when you put those headphones on, you're going to be like, okay, I'm ready to work out. And that's kind of what's happening there. You're putting that music on, those headphones on, like, okay, I'm ready to take some photos. And it also, it's interesting too, music has a profound effect, especially when you listen to the same stuff over and over again. It really produces a lot more focus, the Mozart effect, if you will, too.
So cool. It works so well. You know, if I need to write, if I need to create something, and it's there, but it's difficult to get out of your brain, you know, I want to put it on paper, and then I put on the same music, and and it goes fast, and there's a fast beat, and I'm like, okay, here we go, and then I start writing. It's incredible.
One of my old friends gave me a lot of crap because he's like, oh, you just want to have a soundtrack to your life, don't you? And I was like, yeah, I do. Speaking of soundtrack, from making a TV show, hosting, to create an incubator, where do you find time to achieve your success in your view? It's kind of a loaded question there, so answer it how you wish.
Yeah, well, a lot of stillness helps. This is strange, but you know, not focusing helps me to focus. And that I need to explain that. I can do 7 days in one day. Just go very fast. So if I create enough space around that I'm in nature, I have a dog, I walk my dog at least 1 or 2 hours a day. And it helps me to breathe and to think. That brain never stops. So it keeps on going. And if I can give my brain enough freedom to keep thinking, then I can push myself in a high activity and a high production in days when it's needed. Also, I have these different focus. Incubator, indeed, creating a documentary movie right now, creating a photo book, taking pictures, doing all these things. But it's all linked to each other. So by stop doing everything, it allows me to create space to think about everything and then move forward fast. So I don't have any difficulty in focus. Since a year or so, I don't have any difficulty in finishing my projects, not at all. So it became very easy, and I found a way for myself how I can make it work. And it starts with the book Refuse to Choose from Barbara Sher, where she is saying to all the multipotentialites, start your projects and don't finish them. Just acknowledge the fact that you love the journey and that you want to explore, and that's it. And I said that to myself, and I'm like, okay, I love to explore things, but I have some key elements in my life right now, and maybe it's my midlife crisis, I don't know, but I want to complete them, and this is my focus, and there's no debate about it anymore. And it's therefore very easy now to continue with that. So is it meditation? Maybe so. It helps. Stillness, nature, and giving the space to really think. Yeah.
Honestly, it sounds like you're nothing box. It seems like you're taking the time to recharge. You're in a nothing state. Your brain is How dare
you? How dare you say to me that I have a nothing box?
I wasn't insinuating that like that's a bad thing. I was just saying like the nothing box, I feel like, is a way to just relax and just de-stress from all the stimulation, especially with all the.
I agree with you. But when I'm outside walking my dog, for instance, as an example, to give some space, while walking, I'm thinking about all these projects, and it's creating more content. And then I go back to my computer and it's like, oh yeah, and then it goes.
So screw nothing box. It's your everything box.
It's my everything box. Yeah. Thank you.
You should patent that.
That's the solution. Yeah.
Yes.
It's my everything box.
So I love how you have all your hands in all these different cookie jars, and from releasing the book to making the movie, what is your mindset during all this multi-focused lifestyle?
What is my mindset? What do you mean with that?
So we've kind of already talked about this a little bit, but since you're talking about like your everything mind and how you're putting all your focus in all these different areas, it's not different. Like you said, all these different areas might seem different to an outside person, but to you see the connections. Even I see the connections. Like it makes sense that you're doing all this to me, but I also am in that kind of same multi-potentialite mind. And so I feel like, what is your particular mindset on where you want to accomplish things? What are you trying to focus on right now? What is your mindset on all of it at once, I guess you could say? How do you feel? What is your mind wandering?
I feel at ease. I feel that I've said goodbye to my ego. And of course, I still have an ego. You need your ego to achieve things. So still, of course, I have an ego. But there is a different feeling to it, and it's more soul driven. And without claiming to be an old hippie here, it's kind of a nice feeling, and it's very nice to say no when it doesn't feel right. It's kind of nice to know that I have so many projects and things are going so well that it's okay when I'm meeting someone and I'm thinking, this doesn't feel well, or this contract doesn't feel well, or it is too much ego driven by the other, or I have a salesperson in front of me, which I recognize very well, and it's exactly saying the right things to me at the right moment, and I'm like, no, I don't want to do that. So I feel like everything is balanced out, and it all started for me when I dived into that label of multipotentialite. It helps. Let's face it, it helps to create your own label and to understand yourself very well. And also it helps to explain how you think and how you work and how you feel to other people. And it makes life so much easier and so much more fun. And in the end, it makes life more successful. That's for sure. I'm not fighting anymore. I used to fight a lot to convince people to achieve things, and now I'm just being myself and things are happening. It feels good.
Yeah. Feels like you're more in the flow of things. I'm getting a lot of like Taoism and Friedrich Nietzsche vibes from what you're saying today. I don't know if you're interested in those two philosophies, but there's a lot. Yeah, there's a lot of. I was listening to the Nietzsche video just earlier before today, and it's like interesting how the parallels of what you're saying there. So something I ask all my guests, because I'm curious to see what people say, is what is a polymath to you?
For me, a polymath is you. This is interesting because you were the first one to come to me and say, I'm a polymath, you're a multipotentialite, and there's a huge difference between us. I'm teasing you. But what is a polymath for me? I think a polymath is someone who, and I find this difficult. I used to think that a polymath is someone who has multiple focus. But a multipotentialite has multiple focus as well. What's the difference there? I believe that a multipotentialite is more focused on creativity, where a polymath is more kind of a nerdy person that really, really goes into the technique or the information behind it, and to really make them a specialist within that field. So when I talk to multipotentialites, they're all artists, they're all creativity people, and they're singers, they're actors, they're, you know, all of them. And I think with the polymath, I think it's less creativity in that field, painting, singing, you know, in how do you say that? I'm thinking Dutch now in my brain. This is not helping. You know, visual art and these kind of things. And I think a polymath is very creative, but in a different way, more in creativity within creating new solutions on a technical base, or in companies, or that's how I see it for now. And I'm not sure yet, but that's, when you ask me now what is a polymath, then that's the difference for me.
And see, that's interesting too, because I didn't see the difference in creativity between a polymath and multipotentialite. Personally, I thought it was just a level of competency. It was the only difference. They're both creative expressives. But the way you said it, it was more like a multipotentialite's that creative expressionist who wants to just do it for the sake of creating and have that expression and emotion. And like when you said earlier with your photography, you wanted to see people's emotions. And then you said the polymath is someone who's a little bit more technical, or even, I would even say, scientific about it. So like Leonardo da Vinci.
Scientific about it. Thank you. That's the word I was looking for.
So like Leonardo da Vinci was a fascinating artist, but a lot of his art pieces relied on science and physics and the laws of the depth of field. And so it was interesting how he combined the science and philosophy, or science and arts, together. So that's interesting. Yeah. Okay, cool. I'm glad I asked. So you created the multi incubator. So what is that for, and what inspires you about it?
I created it. It's not ready yet. It's still in development. I read the book Refuse to Choose Barbershare. I saw the TED talk of Emily Wapnick. I was like, oh, I'm a creative generalist. I'm a multipotentialite. There are people like me. This is cool. What do I need? What I need is a company where there is a marketing specialist, where there is a legal specialist, where there is a finance specialist, where there is etc., where I can bring my ideas in. I have an idea, let's do this. And I just give it to them, throw it to them, talk about it, and they continue and they create the new company. And I thought, if I can do that, then I can set up 8, 9 new companies with good ideas, and also with an idea, and we spoke about that earlier, that it's not only the idea, but it's also everything around it, that I need these professionals, these specialists, to create the first start. So that's what I'm working on right now. And it's very difficult. I'm trying to get investors into it, because I need to hire all these specialists. And I need an investor that is also a multipotentialite who understands exactly what I'm talking about. And if I create a business plan and I put everything on paper, then they're like, what is the return on investment model there? And it's for me difficult to explain, because I said, well, you have all these multipotentialites all over the world, and they have the most brilliant ideas. And let's bring them all together in one platform. Oh yeah. So I'm not there yet.
Yeah. I know someone who might be interested. I don't know for sure. He was on my show. He's polymathic. He created the concept of Linky Brain. I think you should meet him. I'll try to connect you after the show.
Okay.
But just remind me, and I'll try to make sure I remember that myself.
Yeah.
It is interesting too because you say marketing specialist, but ironically, it's almost an oxymoron because a lot of times with marketing, you have search engine optimization, you have social media stuff, you have digital marketing such as pay-per-click, and all these different facets that are different skills. And so when people say a marketing specialist, what they actually mean is a marketing polymath, someone who has the multiple deep level skill knowledge in many different areas. And so it is interesting about that. I feel like you might need more polymaths. Also, when I first came,
Dustin, but this is interesting because you can say that not only for marketing, you can also say that for finance.
Yeah.
You know, you have different fields of finance, you have different fields of legal, right? And so that's fascinating because it's never only one pinpoint, unless you say, I want to have a marketing specialist who can help me create whatever within LinkedIn. Then you have this very specific specialist for LinkedIn. But then you need like 20 marketing specialists to do all your marketing activities. And you have to have 20 financial specialists to do all your financial shit for legal shares and whatnot and investments. So yeah, that's true.
Also, I found that you and I were quite alike in this as well, because before PolyInnovator, before I started doing the Polycast, it was my first endeavor was the United Living Construct, which was meant to be like a hub of innovation, sort of what you're kind of building here, where I wanted to bring people like us together to be able to create the innovations of the future. And so it was going to start out as an online hub, but even then move on to like an oceanic seastead city, smart city. That's what I wanted to build. And so it's interesting how the way we approached it was different, but I think that both of us had a completely valid way of going about it. It's just interesting that motivations were similar. Like we wanted to bring people together and create these companies or just innovations and changes in the world.
Connect, and create possibilities and make sure that we strive, that we can really achieve our goals by giving us the right support that we need. And which is slightly different than the support we get in our society. So I wanted to create our own world, same as you, that makes us very comfortable and that we can do the things that I'm doing right now, but then even in a wider perspective and create all these different companies. Why? For me, it's not because of financial success. Why? Because it's so fascinating to create something new. It's so fascinating that you have an idea that pops up in your mind because of an article or whatever, and that you see it's coming to real life. But I also know the things that I'm doing right now, and this is what's behind this as well. Everything that I'm doing right now that comes into a success is because of one single connection. You just have to know the right people. So in order to publish my new book, I have to have a publisher who believes in me. It takes one person. And you can't find that person if you're looking for that person. That person finds you. And these connections, that's what it's all about. So I wanted to create a platform where you can create your own bubble for connecting to the right people to make it happen.
Well, and I wanted to do the same thing with PolyInnovator community, and you're one of the few people who joined up quite early on. I'm still beta testing it, obviously, because it's a tool that I'm not used to. But that Poly tribe that I sent you, it is interesting how that's kind of the same idea that I wanted to build there. And there's also a term, you might have heard of it or not, but super connector. Someone who if you have a problem, there's someone that you're going to go to, and that person can lead you to someone else or to something else. And that person is a super connector. If you can find more of those in your life, then those are the people who can help you with those problems. And one of the early episodes of the Polycast, we talk about it. So I can send that to you if you want to. But yeah,
super connector. Cool.
Where do you see the world if people embrace their multipotentiality more?
Yeah, that's where we're going right now. I think I think because of artificial intelligence,
Hmm.
computers are taking over for, I'm going to put it very black and white, very bold, just to, to create an image there. I think that because of artificial intelligence, more and more jobs will be taken over by computers,
Hmm.
which is in the field of specialists. And I think people that are able to think outside of the box, to be creative and to create new thinking and new ways, that's not possible more or less with artificial intelligence. I know people are going to say now, yes, it is possible to create innovation with artificial intelligence, but I'm talking really outside of the box, and we still need people for that, at least for the coming 20 to 30 years. So I believe with this pandemic going on, COVID-19, and companies that are having a very difficult time, I think being a multipotentialite, being a polymath is fantastic right now, and the future looks very bright, because it has been very difficult for me when I was going for a job interview and I showed my resume. People were like, I don't want to talk to him because I don't know what he is. I don't know. I don't understand this dude. What is he? Why is he here? That is changing. And I saw this job advertisement on Facebook, and I created a picture about that. He was asking for a Swiss knife person. And I thought it was very cool. That's the super connector. That's the Swiss knife. That's a polymath. That's a multipotentialite. So I see more and more companies asking for people like us that are able to do more multiple things and not just be that specialist that is amazing, but connect outside of the box as well.
Well, and something we talked about on your show was like, you asked, do you think people can become multipotentialites? And I still think people can. It is a natural trait for some people like you and I, but I think there is a point where specialists need to have that wide width of interest and curiosity and skills. And companies like Google and IBM are looking for people who've worked at multiple different jobs, even if it's the same position per se, just having that multi-experience and having different experience at different companies, different team sizes, different abilities and roles. And so I think that there is a changing norm, even in the bigger companies, let alone the smaller companies too. Like you're saying, that guy wanted to switch Army knife kind of person. And then on top of that, it is interesting to think about how everything is changing right now. And so we've been talking about accelerants on the show. A lot of people have been talking about how Zoom massively grew. Amazon had a massive influx of, they're still not making as much money when it comes to selling stuff, but they made a significant margin increase. And on top of that, it's just a matter of how these changes are happening. And as they say, the species that is not the strongest or fastest is the species that's most likely to adapt, are the ones that are most likely to survive. And I think that multipotentialites are the ones who are able to adapt most effectively.
They're not stressed out in this COVID situation. They're like, oh, okay, this is what's happening. Let's adjust, adapt, create new opportunities, and go. And that's what we need right now. Are you able to become a multipotentialite when you're not? I still don't believe that's possible. You can learn a little bit about the traits and focus but I don't believe it. But what I do believe is I've read an article somewhere, somehow on the internet saying that 5 to 8% of the people are multipotentialite. I believe it's 30%, 20%, 30%, 40%. I don't know. I think way more people than we expect to be are basic multipotentialite. And I think it has always been, how do you say that?
Suppressed.
Yeah. Due to society. And I think now it's opening up. So more and more people will, show the real selves and explain better how they operate and be a multipotentialite. So I think it's not 8%. I think it's 30% or 20%. I'm guessing, but
no, I think the same thing. I've been saying the same thing about polymaths and just people who are just I think that multipotentialites and polymaths, a simple way of saying this, people who are interdisciplinary, people who want to have multiple hands in different cookie jars. I think there's been people like that for hundreds of years, let alone in the past 100 years specifically, that have just been suppressed and pushed down because we're a specialist society. And we needed that for the Industrial Revolution. We needed people who were focused on one job to make sure the factory was operated properly. But I do think that we could have had polymaths back then that still would have actually accelerated our growth. I think people were too small-minded, and it's like, oh, we have to only have specialists. And then we just kept that whole specialist mentality this entire time. And it's, like you said, it's changing. Luckily, it's changing.
Thanks to the internet.
Yeah, exactly. Modern
Thanks to the internet.
Renaissance, in a way. The internet
Right?
Renaissance. Yeah.
I think so. Yeah.
So what about the word multipotentialite grabs your fancy instead of something like polymath or generalist or even something else like that?
It sounds good. After reading the book of Barbara Sher, she calls it scanners. You know, Barbara Sher wrote Refuse to Choose in 2006 or something. I'm guessing now. I don't know. And she's talking about scanners. It didn't do anything to me, a scanner. You know, I understand why she called them scanners, but a multipotentialite, it's nice and positive. The only problem I find these days now when I'm on the internet and talking to people, it seems to me that a lot of women are multipotentialites and not men. And I talk to a lot of men as well, and they don't know that they're a multipotentialite. And I explain to them how it works, and they're like, oh shit, yeah, I'm a multipotentialite. So for me now, the word multipotentialite becomes a little bit more female. And I don't know what I think about that. It's when you see all these new groups about multipotentialites, it's all women, and which is fine. But I'm missing the man. And then when I think about polymath, I see more men than women. So I don't know how that operates. But for me, for now, multipotentialite, it's nice and positive. And here in Europe, it's not really well known, of course. So with you, it's a well-known word, more or less. But in Europe, it's still in the Netherlands, especially when you say multipotentialite, they have no clue what they're talking about. No clue.
And it's interesting how you kind of refer to some of those words being more masculine or feminine. I think that you might agree that we don't need to have that kind of gender orientation, but it is, like you said, more women are identifying as multipotentialites, more men have been identified as polymaths. And the other day, actually, I told you, I think earlier before or the beginning of recording, that I want to take all the answers to that question, the polymath question, and put it into a video. I made a little intro clip where I had multiple different polymaths kind of come up, really fancy and whatnot. It's cool, nice little design. But I wanted to have a female polymath in there to make sure that I keep cohesion. There's plenty of awesome female polymaths out there. Well, when I searched for female polymath or women polymath, I couldn't find anything, not very much at least. Even though there's plenty of them out there. I know there's plenty of them out there, but for some reason I couldn't find them. And it was just one of those things where it's like, why is this so hard? And just like you were saying, why is it so hard to find the men multipotentialites that are obviously out there? But why is there this distinction between them?
Yeah, why does it happen automatically? Fascinating.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to do 50-50 in my interviews. It's working. And I think it's easier for me to find male multipotentialite than female polymath. I think you have a more difficult job in finding them than I do. But there is a difference there. It's true. And why? I don't know. Maybe it's because these multipotentialites are more focused on this creativity and art, and that seems to be more female than male. And it has more to do with feelings that still, you know, if we like it or not, there is a difference between male and female there. I don't know. It happens automatically. We can't help it.
So pivoting a little bit, my next question, actually, earlier I was getting this kind of vibe that you were very present in the moment. And I was curious to think, like, do you think about the past more or more about the future? Or are you in the middle?
Both. You know, I think about the past a lot in a very positive way. I have 3 kids. That helps to think about the past as well in reflecting your own life and what you want to achieve with your children, in raising your children. So therefore, you're always looking in the past, in your own teenage life and what happened there and how you want to do it differently. Very much so in the present moment. Future, I think less in the future. I think it's more in the past and the present moment than the future. And the future, you know, that's tomorrow, that's 5 minutes from now, and that's just happening. And I don't think a lot about, well, next year I want to be this, or I want to have achieved this or that, yeah. So I think it's more about the present moment and a little bit the past and the future. Yeah.
It's interesting kind of imagining the percentages there. I personally have always been kind of future centric, but I've also been about the past a lot. So I like how we have parallels there, Perry.
Yeah, really? Cool.
Yeah. So the future way of cities is smart and sustainable. Where can multi-potentialites thrive in the future cities?
Yes, I think, of course, I'm thinking a lot about the future and what the future, the podcast of the TEDx that interviewed me as well went about the future and how do I see the future of multi-potentialites. I think the future looks very bright. And I think I've always said in my interviews that my favorite job would be head of chaos. Create a job for multipotentialites and let them thrive in what they do and how they feel happy and how they can achieve everything that they want. And I see that's happening. More and more jobs are going that way. So when I think about the future and multipotentialites and the internet and the connections and the new generation that is all connected, and we allow them more to be multipotentialites because of the work that we do. Yeah, I think it's fantastic. I think it's going to be normal to have 4 different jobs in your life at the same time. And that's not 4 different jobs because you need 4 different jobs to pay your mortgage and to have a super cool car, but you have 4 different jobs because you find them fascinating and you want to develop yourself, and that's going to be the new normal. I'm positive about that.
Yeah. Well, I don't remember what study I saw this in, but you mentioned how you read an article. I read an article recently about like the future of jobs is more freelancing, where people aren't going to be confined to a company, but more so to a role, and they can work between different jobs. And who's to say you can't be a freelancer for multiple different kinds of jobs too?
Exactly. And I see now Facebook groups on digital nomads. I love that. People traveling the world, they have their laptop is their office, and they're doing all kinds of different jobs because of the skill set they have. And it doesn't matter where you are, and it only matters in what time zone you are. And you just go for it. Makes me very, very happy when I see that. And very jealous to see.
Yeah, that's the thing. It makes me jealous
doing
too.
That. Like, shit, I want to do that as well.
Well, and this is an interview about you, so I don't want to talk about myself too much, but it is interesting how I want to be a digital nomad too. You've traveled around, so I'm even jealous of you, Perry, there, because you get to travel a lot. And it's one of those things where I try to build PolyInnovator not in the sake of making money, but down the line, it is something that's going to have to be done from what I'm doing here. And so I'm coming up with these creative ways and trying to be a multi-potentialite about it, find every single avenue that I can and see which one's going to work first, which one might be a little bit more interesting to work on next. And so by the time I do get ready to actually monetize, I'll have quality and quantity of both.
Exactly. Here.
Yeah. Cheers.
And how old are you?
25.
Cheers.
So only
25.
Yeah.
God, yeah.
But you're still young too.
No, I am jealous of you now. Jesus. I wish I was thinking that way when I was 25. When I was 25, I was just doing the things that I should be doing back then according to society and trying to fit in because that's what you're doing when you're 25. And I was struggling because it didn't work out that well. But you already figured everything out. Cheers to that.
I just told society, screw off. I have my own plan. I don't want to go to college the way you want me to. I don't want to go to school. But you said you got a new job as a head of chaos. So how does that feel?
Very exciting.
Yeah.
So helping out this is fantastic. This organization, and I spoke with them and I said, oh, I want to help out. I want to be active. With your foundation. And they said, well, what do you want to do? I said, well, make me head of chaos, bring me the problems, tell me what are your struggles, what do you want to achieve and it's not working, put them at my desk and I will start thinking about it. Yeah, that's fantastic. You know, that gives a lot of energy, and I do that for free, and you know, that's what I want to do.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You know, it's interesting. Maybe you can give me advice either today or some other time about it. But my ideal dream is to work in smart city development, and not necessarily in the specialist role. Like I want to work in this smart technology of like IoT devices, some crap like that. More in the macro view, where I want to be helping. Okay, what do I need to work on next? What's the problem that we're facing? How can we solve that? And be that head of chaos for a smart city creation. And so maybe you
Yeah,
can get me advice someday about how to go about that. So I created
of
PolyInnovator to
course.
do that, but that's going to be a long way from now.
I can help you with that. I have a philosophy in how to do that, and it works for me. So why doesn't it work for you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think the life of a multi-potentialite is going to be like, or is like?
Well, it depends on what generation you're asking. I think when you ask my generation, there's still a lot of frustration because we've been fighting and not understanding ourselves. And when you look at the younger generation, it's just there and it's fine and it's not. There's no debate about it. And if you don't want to be stuck in one city, you become a digital nomad, and you know it's fine. So it all depends on what generation you're asking this question, and that excites me that you have this younger generation that's quite easy for them to be a multipotentialite. Although I want to give lectures on this to kids, to teenagers, and to explain to them what's happening because still a lot of young professionals and students and kids going to college, they have no idea what a multipotentialite is, and they're struggling themselves still. So although there are a lot of opportunities there and it becomes easier to become a multipotentialite and to, you know, to feel at home within the system being one, I think there's still a lot of explaining that needs to be done. And I'm happy to, you know, go in Europe and tell these kids, this is what a multipotentialite is. This is how you need to deal with that. And this is how you move forward and have a happy life in that way. Because you don't want to become frustrated or getting different kind of labels in your life
Yeah.
when you're a multipotentialite, and that's of course the danger that is out there. If you don't understand yourself and if you don't have parents who understand you, you're lost. And then you just listen to the first one who's saying to you like, oh, but this is what you have, and then, oh, this explains to me, and then you hold on to that. And maybe sometimes it's not the right thing, it's not the right label, and it destroys your life, and then it takes you another 20 to 30 years to understand yourself even better, and then to figure out, oh, but I'm a multipotentialite, there's nothing wrong with me.
Mm-hmm.
I know people that are bipolar, you know, and got the label bipolar, and they're just a multipotentialite, and they're stopped their medication, and they said, let me do all these different things, and let me be very active in my head, and let me be creative, and I'm fine. And now these people are fine.
Yeah.
We need to be careful with that.
Well, and yeah, be careful with labels. And I think that on a college, back on the college kind of term there, you're mentioning how you want to teach these people, these kids who are trying to define themselves. I think it's very powerful. We should do that more. And I think I encourage you to do so. But it is interesting to see the rise of liberal arts degrees, and not because people are interested more in the arts, but more because that's the only way the college system defines that interdisciplinary schooling. There is some polytechnic schools out there, but they're more STEM based, or even more niche, like engineering based, and it's a multi-engineering. And it's like you can be polymath or multipotentialite in many different fields. You can be curious about many different things, and so we need a school for people like us. And I'm actually trying to build that with the modular degree. So hopefully, maybe down the line, I can call you up, be like, "Hey, you want to teach some students and whatnot?" Be good.
Would be fantastic. I spoke with my son about this. He's 12 years old. He's a multipotentialite as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, wouldn't it be fantastic if I could create summer camps for kids your age that are all multipotentialites and go nuts about all kind of different topics, and to have specialists from all over the world flown in and explain and lecture you about all these different things, even when you're only 12, but to listen to someone who is explaining at the university level about black hole theory and solar system and what. And he said, "Oh, I would love that,"
Yeah.
And it's not there. It doesn't exist, and it would be fantastic for these kids to really dive in deep water of knowledge during their summer holidays.
So let's make a little agreement now. When I create the United Living Construct, Seastead City, whatever it's going to formulate to be down the line, let's have you make that summer camp in that city. There we go.
Okay.
That'd be good.
That's a deal.
So,
promise you.
Yes. With your book, movie, Incubator, you got a lot going on here. I have no doubt you can handle it. But what are some of your things that you are focusing on right now?
The main focus for me now is to finish everything. I found out that I wasn't finishing everything, and that I used to say, "Oh, it's because I'm a multipotentialite, I don't finish things," which is not true. It's an excuse that a multipotentialite uses for not finishing things. I've changed. I found out myself why I wasn't finishing things, and it has to be. It was because of your subconsciousness who was not helping me to finish and to achieve my goals. And I understand now better why I was doing that. And I was using the excuse as I'm a multipotentialite. I'm focused on so many things, so it's for me difficult to finish. I stopped doing that, and I became a different person for that. I'm a bit of a pain in the ass now for other people because I want to finish everything that I'm working on. And I constantly am saying, I'm expecting this from you. I want to finish this. I want to see the results. If you can't give me the results, it's fine, but tell me so. I will do it in a different way. So for me, if you're asking me this question, what are you focused on right now? It's finishing constantly. This needs to be finished.
So I think I was even thinking in a more micro sense, like what is the project you're working on right now today besides this interview that you're focused on that you want to finish?
I'm working on my documentary movie. I just signed an agreement with a production company to create the documentary movie. And for me, every day I'm filming my own life. I'm filming the things that I'm doing, and I'm working every day to create the correct and the right angle to make an interesting movie. So in my opinion, you can make a documentary. It's very simple. You have the thing you want to talk about, and you create that into a documentary. I want to create a documentary from the multi-potentialite perspective as well. So it needs all different angles, and it needs to be all connected, and it needs to be exciting. And I'm thinking about that every day, and every day I'm finishing chapters in my thinking to create the right angles for my documentary. Yeah.
Awesome.
It's no open end.
Well, and after talking to you last, it took me like a week and a half to kind of brew on and have that slow burn, but I had this idea of macro and micro focus, and I made a micro polycast on it. And what's interesting is that I think for people like us, in order for us to be successful, and not necessarily in the sense of like specialists say, but successful in our own rights, like if you want to finish things, that's a success, then we have to have the right macro view. Like what do we think you have for you? Your macro view is the book, the documentary, the podcast, all these different things. That's your macro view. That's what you want to work on. The micro view is like, what do I need to work on today or this hour? And like, what do I need to do deep work on if you want to use Cal Newport's idea? And so I like that idea, and I hope maybe you can expand it.
There's so much going on. And, today I've been working for the foundation, for the book, for the movie, and I find it very difficult to answer your question. It's just there, and I have a structure in how I work.
So how's the structure? How do you switch between them?
I wake up, I have my breakfast, which is always at the same time. I walk my dog at the same time of the day. I spend the same amount of time walking my dog. I'm on my social media at the same time of the day, at the same amount. It's always the same thing. And I didn't create that. I didn't sit down and write down, I'm going to be on social media from 9 to 10. I didn't do that. I was working that way, and I realized myself that I created that structure myself, and then I wrote it down. And that really helped, because then you can stop information coming from the outside world towards yourself. So now, I don't answer my phone between 9 and 10 in the morning, because I'm on my social media. And I found out myself that if someone interferes with my structure that I created myself, not by writing it on paper, but just doing it, then it messes up my whole day. And then in the end of the day, I get frustrated because I didn't do what I wanted to do. So I just organize my days very well. And I just say, from here to here, I'm doing this, and don't disturb. But I don't believe, I believe that it needs to grow organically. And then you need to be aware of how your system works, instead of creating a system, someone telling you how to do it and then doing it. Because I don't believe that works.
Yeah, especially for multipotentialites. And I'm glad I asked that question, because you answered it in a way that I felt was very interesting. And this goes back to what I was mentioning earlier. People like us need to create our own systems. And right now I'm learning about Notion from many different people, trying to get everyone's viewpoint and how they do things. And then screw that. I want to make my own from that knowledge that I acquired from them. And so I think that's fascinating how you have your structure that you created on your own. You woke up at that time and you have your structure. Like, maybe your actual work hours, your deep work may fluctuate, but the actual structure of your routines, your rituals, those are much more habitual and in a system.
It sounds stupid, right? It sounds really
it sounds smart. It sounds like atomic habits. It sounds like you have rituals. It sounds like the science that people talk about, but you have your own take on it.
Yeah. Well, I thought it was really nice when I figured out it myself. That was, oh my God, I have a structure in my life. And then you write it down, and then I'm like, oh, okay. This is how it works for me. Yeah.
I didn't want you calling it stupid, because this is not stupid. It's good. It's smart. I love it.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you for calling it smart. Yeah.
Where do you see yourself going next?
Yeah, that's a good one. So this is going well, right? Mm-hmm. And I want to produce more documentaries. I love that. It started with creating the TV show in China, of course. So that, and being a photographer. So imaging is everything to me, and explaining things and doing research is fantastic. So I'm going to I'm creating already a fantastic documentary, and I hope it's going to be awesome. I really hope it's going to be awesome and not just a documentary that nobody finds interesting. And then continue with that. And there are so many more things to explore and to find out, and that's what I want to do, and be an artist. Just create things and create documentaries, movies, photography, books, a way of thinking, explaining things. This is what I want to continue. I'm 45. Let me do this for another 45 years, and I'm super happy. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, I definitely see the artistic side, the artista in you. And if I may, I also feel like you're a blossoming content creator, as they would say in my generation, with the whole podcast that you're doing. And I almost wonder if you could expand upon that more. Maybe take the audio out, put it on audio platforms, put it on a podcast host so that it can be distributed. And then, like, maybe even if you want to, make a blog post out of each video and your opinion on what people said and how you thought about it. Because I looked at your YouTube channel, you have 21 videos on there. And most of those, if not all, I think, are the interviews. And that's awesome, because most people, when they start a podcast or a show like that, they don't continue. They lose track after just a few. And after just a few months, and you've been going for months and taking your breaks when you need, but you've been doing it consistently and making awesome content from it. And that's
which is incredible for a multipotentialite, right?
Yeah.
Normally they stop, but I'm not stopping. Why am I not stopping? Because every interview is exciting. Mm-hmm. I did a pre-interview today. Tomorrow I will do a new interview with someone in the Netherlands. It's fantastic. She has a different point of view. I did an interview with someone who lives in Canada, who's from the United States, who's a rapper. And what he did in 4 years' time, it's amazing. He created a movie, his own rap videos, his own music, his book. And
Yeah.
so it gives me so much energy to listen to these people. And I should do, and this is why I created the platform Multi. What I want to do is to ask someone, can you turn this into a podcast? Can we use the content to write down things? I don't have enough time. I don't want to spend time on doing that because I'm also doing all these other things. So I love these interviews, and these interviews is a baseline for my documentary, and I continue with that. But I totally agree with you that I need to create a podcast because people are saying it's way too long. I can't listen to the whole interview. But if you have a podcast, you can listen in your car, on your phone, and whatnot. It's much easier. So I need to work on that. Yeah, I need to find some time for that.
Two things. First off, I love listening to videos and podcasts at a higher speed. And I think multipotentialites might resonate with that, or polymaths too. So we might just mention that. I just want to throw it out there. Start listening to things at a higher speed. It's fantastic. I love it.
Yeah,
and
I love that. Yeah.
The other thing is there's a tool I love called Repurposed.io. They can take whatever video or podcast you have and repurpose it to different platforms, even automatically if you wanted to. So for example, I post my videos to Facebook and then it automatically posts to YouTube. If I wanted to, I could automatically post that to an RSS feed, which could automatically post your videos to you. So as soon as you upload your YouTube video or Facebook video, it could automatically send to a podcast. So
is that the same thing as if this then that?
No, it's not. It's similar in nature how it works, but it's a different platform. Yeah. But it is interesting.
Share that with me, please, because it's interesting to get all these videos out there. Because they inspire people. Sometimes more than other times, but sometimes beautiful things happen. Yeah.
Well, and I feel like too, as a content creator, you don't have to know everything, but it helps if you do. If you can be omni-channel, you're going to have much more higher level of success. And you can use that omni-channel approach to market your documentaries and books that you make.
Yeah.
So that's awesome.
All right. Done.
So where can people find you online then? Speaking of omni-channel, where are you at?
They can find me on my LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram. Those are the 3 channels, and YouTube channel, of course. Subscribe at my YouTube channel. My goodness. I love my Instagram. Of course, as a photographer, I love my Instagram channel. Yeah. And it shows my life and what I'm doing and what I'm seeing out there. Connect with me any way possible. I'm always happy to read messages from people and to hear ideas and to talk with people and whatnot. Everybody considers themselves as a coach these days. So I'm not a coach, but I'm happy to talk with you if you want to share something with me. And I always find that fascinating. And if I can help out someone, I'm even more willing to do so. So Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and YouTube, and I will provide you all the links, but I think you already have it.
Yeah, I was about to say I have all the links on here already, but I just wanted to make sure that people have a verbal confirmation, especially coming from you. And then what could be our call to action for the audience today? What can they do to either discover their multipotentiality or something along those lines?
Yeah, that would be cool. And when I talk to people, they always ask me, what do you do? So I always have my multipotentialite story. And so many times the answer is, oh, I'm not a multipotentialite. And then they start talking about their own life. And I'm saying, well, did this happen? Yeah. Did that happen? Yeah. Maybe you are a multipotentialite in some way. And I'm like, okay. So what should they do? The TED Talk of Emily Wapnick, that's becoming too short, I think. Do you have multiple goals in your life, multiple passions, and then you have your superpowers? Okay. Maybe call to action, and it's not because of myself, but maybe watch 1 or 2 of my interviews and see what we're talking about. We're always talking about what it is to be a multipotentialite and how they discovered and whatnot. It helps definitely for yourself to understand better if you're a multipotentialite or not. And the beauty out of this is it's not science. So you give yourself your own label of being a multipotentialite. Nobody can say that you're either wrong or right with that. It's your own destination, it's your own feeling. And when you believe you are a multipotentialite, then you are a multipotentialite. And we don't debate about that. And it gives you tools to look at things in a different way. And I love that. So call to action, do some digging, read some things, maybe watch one or two of my interviews, or go to the TED Talk of Emily Wapnick, or read some blogs, but try to figure out why you are or you aren't a multipotentialite.
Well, yeah, for sure. Watch some of your videos, and after talking to you and Mir, actually, someone else was a multipotentialite on the show, I actually made a OmniContent post, which is a video, podcast, and blog post about multipotentialites. So that's a good starting zone as well. So between your YouTube channel and that, it'd be great.
Check that out, right? And then when you find out you're a multipotentialite, then the next thing you need to do is even more cool. It's in your DNA. So you believe that you can do a training and you can become a multipotentialite. I don't think so. I think it's in your DNA structure. So when you figured out you're 30, 40, whatever, and you have kids and you are a multipotentialite, then look at your own kids again and look at them closely and try to figure out if one of them or all of them or whatever is maybe a multipotentialite as well, and have a conversation with your child about that. That's fast. I can promise you that it's unbelievable if you do that.
That's interesting. Well, I'm Dustin Miller, PolyInnovator. This is Perry Knoppert from Multi, and this is the Polymath podcast. So thanks for being here, Perry.
Thank you for watching us. Thank you, Dustin.